Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about some killer sounding records that you can still order. They're still available. These are not records that I'm going to say, wow, they sound really great, but they're on the secondary market for $200. No, these are amazing sounding records that you can order right now. I'm also going to talk to you about some heartbreaking records that we all probably have personal stories with. I will share mine. I would love to hear yours. And I'm also going to talk about a little bit of a life change that I have made personally, thanks to, in part, by some of the records I'm going to show today. Let's go ahead and get started with the first one. Y'all have probably seen this one making the rounds. This is the Cars' debut album. It debuted back in June 6th of 1978, so we're right here on the anniversary. And this one is one you can only order on the Rhino website, limited to 5,000 copies and mastered by Kevin Gray. And it sounds absolutely wonderful. 33 RPM, great. And I am all for coming up with these audiophile records of rock and roll records, because I have been spoiled to death and I'm so thrilled about the jazz records that are coming out. Now I want to hear these really wonderful rock and roll records in the best way possible. My only complaint with this is when I saw the box it came in, I knew this record was going to be damaged. The box was very, very flimsy. And yes, I do have a teeny weeny little ding here. I'm not that upset about it. I'm not asking for a replacement. I'm going to play this record to death. It's okay. Again, it sounds wonderful. And I do have the Mobile Fidelity 45 RPM version of this that I've always loved and I think it's great. I haven't done a shootout. If you want me to, I will. This is a great release, and I'm so happy that there's going to be hopefully more and more audiophile releases of rock and roll records. Now, next up is one from Acoustic Sounds, the Analog Productions label. So great. Billie Holiday's Body and Soul. This is 45 RPM, 2 LPs. It doesn't come with a gate fill, but whoop-de-doo. The sound quality more than makes up for it. It's still available. My daughter absolutely loves Billie Holiday. She's one of her favorites. And of course, because she loves her, she's become one of the favorites of mine as well. And Billie Holiday died back in 1959, very tragically, from cirrhosis of the liver. She had been a drug and alcohol addicted person. If I had her life, I can't even imagine. She had such a tremendous amount of sorrow for one person to go through in her life. Very, very sad. And when you hear her singing, you hear a little bit of that sadness. It just is in her voice. We cannot watch a movie or just be around and live without hearing Billie Holiday and her beautiful, iconic singing. You know, there's a lot of great songs on here, classics, Body and Soul. They can't take that away from me. Let's Call the Whole Thing Off, Comes Love, Moonlight in Vermont. Absolutely beautiful. And like I said, thanks to Analog Productions, it sounds like she's alive and well and singing in our living rooms. But wow, what a tragic story Billie Holiday has of bad marriages. Her childhood was terrible. She became addicted to drugs and alcohol. Just a very, very sad story. This next one I highly recommend too. Still available. You can order it very easily. It is a new release, an original jazz classics reissue of Thelonious Monk and John Coltrane. If you've ever been curious about jazz or wanted to get into jazz, this is a record you should definitely have. Have a nice dinner, put this record on, and you will immediately fall in love. And it sounds very, very good. So I am so thankful to now have that one in the collection. Now I want to move on to records. There's a couple here that are personally heartbreaking, and I know that when you hear some of the tracks on these albums, you automatically feel sadness too, because we can all relate to the heartbreak of these songs. So let me talk for a minute about this Mobile Fidelity release. It's still available. You can go on Music Direct and for $39.99 order this record and you wouldn't regret it. It sounds absolutely amazing, mastered by Krieg Wunderlich. So, so, so good. This is Bread, Baby, I'ma Want You. And of course the song Baby, I'ma Want You, my husband heard it the other day. He's like, how corny. That's such a corny song. And yeah, I kind of agree. And yet as a romantic, I like it. But there's so much depth to this album as well. I never thought I needed anything but Bread's greatest hits until I heard this whole album. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you know, you got to get past a name like Bread. Why they decided to name their band Bread, I have no idea. But they were very successful, so who am I to judge? But, you know, we get great songs on here. The very first one is Mother Freedom, and we get really great guitar playing. There's a lot of great electric guitar. There's a lot of great acoustic guitar on this whole album. Harmonies are off the hook. So, so good. Of course, Baby, I'ma Want You was the next song. Down on My Knees, absolutely beautiful. Everything I Own, I'm going to get to that song in just a minute. Diary. You all, that is such a beautiful song, and if you hear it, you'll know it. It's so good. And then side 2, Dream Lady, Daughter, Games of Magic is so beautiful. There's a little bit of a, this isn't what the government, it's a little bit of a country rock. And I Don't Love You is a blues song. So they're not just these wimpy ballad people. They actually put out a really great record, and Krieg Wunderlich really did a great job. You can find this record in dollar bins, but you're not going to find it this clean and sound this good and clean. So beautiful. Album cover looks great. Everything about it is wonderful. I want to get back to the song Everything I Own. There's a very personal story that I want to share with you, and why this album. Of course, there's a lot of really heartbreaking songs on there, but it is particularly heartbreaking to me, the song Everything I Own. You kind of have to reverse back to the year 2010. Our daughter, was 13 years old. She was diagnosed with a deadly form of skin cancer, melanoma. The sad part about her story was that it had grown and it was very deep in her skin. If you find it early and have it removed, you're good to go. You're cancer-free. Sadly, what we were told was that our daughter's cancer had grown so deep that they were going to have a major surgery, and they're going to have to take out some lymph nodes, and they were going to have to test to see if it was already in her body. And at that time, and I don't know if it's changed or not, but at the time we were told quite honestly, if it's in her body, it's no longer a matter of being cured. It was a matter of prolonging her life. I hope they've made some improvements now where it's curable. I don't know. I haven't heard that. But we were faced with the possibility that our daughter had cancer and that it was terminal. And it was just a matter of prolonging her life. When you're at 13 years old and you're the mom, you want her life to be to where she's 90, 100 years old and you're long gone. And that was a really scary time. So she had a major operation. She had to have lymph nodes removed and tested to see if it was in her body or still just in the skin. And we were very, very blessed that across the street from us was where we lived was a pathologist. He happened to get her case, and he was able to share with us the great news that her cancer had not spread to her lymph nodes and that she was cancer free. You know, not everybody gets that great of an outcome, and we're so thankful to this day. So fast forward that a little bit after that happened, she came to us and she said, Mom, Dad, can I please have a dog? I've always wanted to own a dog, wanted to have a dog. So, you know, after everything we had been through, we felt like, yes, we deserved to have a little joy in our life, and our daughter, more than anybody, deserves to have a wish come true. So we adopted a dog from the Humane Society. We named her Shay. I'm going to show a picture of her and our daughter together. She was our daughter's joy, and we all just loved this dog. She was such a good dog. And our daughter went off to college at age 16 because she's really, really smart, and she was able to move on that way. So the dog became my dog. I took her on walks, and she was such a good dog that I could leave her off the leash and she wouldn't run away. And I would listen to music, and on the playlist was the song Everything I Own. So I would hear this beautiful song called Everything I Own and watch this dog run around having a great time, not knowing that at 7 years old, this dog was going to get cancer and that we were going to have to put her down. It was so tragic. So, you know, we had such a great outcome with our daughter, not so much with our dogs. She got to have a great life, but it was very short-lived. But when I hear the song Everything I Own, it just brings back that whole story. But it's such a great record, and Mobile Fidelity did such a great job. It is still available on Music Direct. They kindly sent this to me. It's a promotional copy. They sent it to me, no strings attached. But it's such a special record, and it sounds so good that I had to share it with you guys. So, you know, if you like that record, check it out on Music Direct's website. And this is another one that, believe it or not, there is a beautiful album that I highly recommend every vinyl collector own. One of these songs was also on the playlist when I would walk my dog on a daily basis. So when I hear Everything I Own and a song from this album, I think of this beautiful dog and the whole situation of how we got her, how blessed we are to still have our daughter who is in medical school. She just finished her 3rd year, going into her 4th year, and she's going to be a pathologist. So, I mean, it just all comes full circle. So, Jim Croce, and this was sent to me by a viewer named David, and thank you so much, David, for sending this beautiful record my way. I love Jim Croce. We've got really cool songs on here like Bad Bad Leroy Brown, Photographs and Memories, Time in a Bottle. I mean, what a killer song that is. Everything on here is absolutely gorgeous, highly worth your time. The song on here that was on my playlist, that when I hear it, I still think about that beautiful dog and how we got her and what my daughter went through. Operator, such a beautiful one. It's called Operator, That's Not the Way I Feel. Now, another heartbreak. That's a heartbreaking album, even if you don't have my personal story. Just look at this inner sleeve. Jim Croce sadly died at a very young age in an airplane crash. This is his son holding his his dad's hat. I mean, you know, not only were we robbed of what could have been another just amazing classics, he was robbed of his own father. And that's really, really sad. This came on red vinyl. Again, thank you, David. I really appreciate having this one. It's so fantastic. And if you don't have this record, I highly recommend it. So beautiful. David also sent Elvis in Memphis, a tremendous record. And I had made a video, a review of From Elvis in Memphis. It was a 1-step that was given to me for Mobile Fidelity, and I reviewed it. He sent this follow-up Elvis back in Memphis, and it is tremendous. Thank you, David, for your generosity. And now I want to move on to some records that made me really rethink what I was doing with my life. I knew some changes needed to come because I had been running myself ragged for a long time. I work 2 jobs and I have this vinyl channel. Every hour of my day was spoken for and dedicated to doing certain tasks. I worked and I loved the jobs I had. I also love my vinyl channel. I also have a house to clean. This spring has been so busy. I love planting flowers and taking care of the yard. And there just has been so much work lately that it really came to a point where I just couldn't breathe anymore and something had to give. And I think we all come to that point in our lives where something has to give. I'm very, very fortunate that my husband has an amazing job and I was able to make some choices that I needed to make in my life. And sadly, but for a good reason, I had to let go of one of my jobs that I had. Now, I got a lot of personal gratification from doing the job, but I got these records and I got them back in April, maybe one of them in early May, I'm not sure. I've lost track of time at this point. But because of my busy lifestyle and how crazy things are, and let's face it, it's spring, I've been outside a lot. I had not been able to listen to records. These are people who were kind enough to send records my way. They're musical artists, and they actually watch my channel, and they wanted to send me records. And I did not have time to listen to them until recently. That really got me to do some self-reflecting, and I decided to let one of my jobs go. So hopefully in the future I will have more time, and I'm so thankful for just really being able to reevaluate my life. I'm thankful I'm in a position where I can do that. So let's go ahead and show these. This is an artist that he's so talented, and yet he watches my channel every week, comments on my videos, Michael Christensen. And this album is called The Middle Kingdom Years. And he has sent a record to me in the past that was absolutely beautiful and I really enjoyed. This one is absolutely no different. It is meditative, and yet it also has some really cool psych guitar playing on it. It is so good, and it sounds so incredible. I mean, not only does it sound incredible, just if I'm out watering my flowers and listening to it from my phone, I mean, it sounds even better on vinyl. So I'm going to leave a link below so you can check out Bandcamp and hear this record. If you want to order it, you can. It is on a beautiful teal vinyl that I know that will not do justice when I hold this up, because it's absolutely the most beautiful. And it's not doing its justice. It's so pretty. A great record, polyline sleeve. Michael Christensen, thank you so much for watching my channel and commenting on my channel. You're an incredible artist. I love this record, and it's just a great one to listen to. And finally, this is a group of records sent to me by Jeff Dyer. He is the founder, the vocalist, the lead guitarist of a band called Uncle Sally. He sent me 3 records. They were limited to 100 copies each. They're now only available if you go on eBay or if you live in the Tampa Bay, Florida area. This is a band that came out of Tampa Bay, and I can only imagine the people of Florida, how much they love this band, how much they push for the success. I came from Indiana. There was an artist named Henry Lee Summer that as Hoosiers really pushed and were happy for his success. Uncle Sally, no doubt, no different. And these records, the three I'm going to show, were mastered by Scott Hull at Masterdisc in New York. This particular record is called Past, Present, Future. This is Jeff Dyer's personal favorite. It's really great. They do sound really good. They sound every bit as good as reissues from bands like Def Leppard, the Kiss, reissues, anything like that. They're absolutely wonderful. And this is such a great record. Immediately, I love the opening tracks. And I would say they sound like a band that when they came out were very familiar. Like if you hear Rat, Warrant, the 80s version of Kiss, that's kind of the sound of where these records are. They're really, really good. Uncle Sally, this is Tending the Flock, another great record. Getting a really cool vinyl release. And I love Come On and Ride. If you hear that song, you're going to hear Come On, Come On. Really, really cool. And everything on here is very good. And I love the green vinyl on this one. So very, very good. This one I really enjoy. And the next one is probably my favorite. World of Hurt by Uncle Sally. Immediately, the song U.S. Blues is so good. The guitar playing is great on here. Everything about it is so interesting. There's a song on here called Sail On. And Jeff Dyer, the vocalist, I love the range and the way he sings, the notes he chooses. And it's just a very interesting listen. Everything about this record is so good. So I really enjoyed that one as well. Here is the record, World of Hurt. And he wrote me a beautiful letter at the end of April. And here it is early June. And I've just now been able to sit down and listen to these records. And that was another wake-up call for me of why I needed to slow down a little bit. I didn't have a lot of free time for myself anymore. He signed this, absolutely beautiful. And he said, what do you think of when you see this? Was there an inspiration? I'm sure he knows the answer to it. He didn't reveal it to me. I would say with the Beatles, it does remind me a little bit of the With the Beatles. If you look at it, again, you can see maybe this guy kind of looks a little bit like Ted Nugent, maybe a Ted Nugent album, or even Bark at the Moon by Ozzy Osbourne. That came to mind. So, great records. If you're interested, check out Uncle Sally. I will leave a link below to Jeff's website or something where you can get to know the music. If you're interested in buying, and you're in the Tampa Bay area, look at your local record stores. Otherwise, look on eBay. So these are records that inspired me to make some changes in my life, reminded me of some of the hardships, heartbreaking records that are still so beautiful to listen to, and just overall great sounding records. Please leave the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, the subscription button, the notification bell so you don't miss any more of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.